Identity. What is your identity? Your identity is a mixture of your personality, thoughts, opinions, culture, and your experiences. In other words, your history. Hello, I am Yusuf Gibril, and this is my history. My history is also my country's history. I am from Cairo, Egypt. Let's look at its history. Egypt is a great country, but has its own dark times in history. We enter one of the most gruesome wars of Egypt. The year is 1967. In that year, one of the greatest wars in modern Egyptian history has started. For in the year 1967, a part of Egypt was invaded. The life in Egypt for 6 years was like a sad black and white movie. Dull, sad, no signs of happiness, and the loudest sounds in the streets were the sounds of silence. These were dark times for all 60 million people living in Egypt. Yet this all would change in the year 1973. The year is 1973, and Egypt had finally won the war. The war had ended with Egypt on the winner's side. Egypt has just won the war politically, land-wise, militarily, and won their dignity by being the only country who was able to defeat the army that was undefeatable at the time. Now that we're done with the recent history of Egypt, let's get into my family's history, shall we? Let's start off by my father's history. He was born in the year 1976, and he was one of the most smart students. Matter of fact, in the year 1990, he got the highest grades in the city. He continued to be one of the most successful students in his academic years. After graduating, my father traveled to Saudi Arabia to start his life there. He stayed there for a couple of years, but then after that, he made the biggest decision that would change his life and all of our family's life. He decided to go to Canada in the year of 2003. He stayed there for only 1 year and then came back to Egypt, where he married my mother. And here is where we start to talk about my mother's history. My mom was born in the year 1979. She has a twin sister. They are so identical to the point I got mixed up between them. My mother was born in Cairo, Egypt, until she traveled to Saudi Arabia in her elementary years. My mother was born in Cairo, Egypt, until she traveled to Saudi Arabia in her elementary years. We return to the point where my mother meets my father. And here we enter phase 2 of my history. The year is 2005, the year I was born, in Saudi Arabia. We started our journey in Saudi Arabia, but that wouldn't be for long, for my father decided that we would go back to Canada. The only difference is this would be the biggest change in our lives.